Hi, welcome to the Actor's Side. Today I'm so excited. We have Sir Patrick Stewart here, who among many movies is of course one of the stars of Logan, which came out earlier this year, which you got rave reviews for. I mean, really well deserved too. It was not what people expected in the X-Men series to see this movie, and I bet it wasn't what you expected either, probably.
Absolutely not. I was prepared for more of the same, which was good same.
Yeah.
But when I met with James and he began to explain to me his ideas for the movie, I saw that we were going to be going into a world that X-Men had really not inhabited at all before. Yeah. A world of disappointment, of old age, of failure, of insecurity. I never thought I'd live to see Logan driving a crappy old limo around El Paso. But we were both so enthusiastic for it. And James's vision for the film, he spelt out in such a lucid and vivid way that we were all excited by it. And once the script was finished and we were working, it was a different experience entirely from anything we'd done before.
Yeah, and a real actor showcase this time around. You know, the special effects didn't overwhelm as they do in so many of these kinds of franchises. And it allowed you and Hugh Jackman and a wonderful young actress.
Daphne Keane.
Daphne Keane.
She was extraordinary, and not just as a performer, and her concentration and focus and commitment was total. But she was also a delightful person. We spent days and days and days inside that limo, inside that crappy old van, the truck that we were driving around. And we had such a good time.
Yeah. You know, it's amazing to look at your career. It's a fascinating career, actually. The way you started out and the way when you got to LA or you got to Hollywood, doing things that I can't imagine you ever expected you would be doing. You know, to be in two huge franchises like Star Trek and X-Men, and to have them go on so long, what brought you to that point? Let's go back a little bit to the beginning, because you were really the Royal Shakespeare Company. That was your home.
It was my home, and I still look on it as my second home. And something has come up, the possibility of me doing another major Shakespearean role in 2020. Should we all make it that far? Yeah. Sometimes I wonder if we will. But it's when I arrived, walked through the stage door of the Royal Shakespeare Theatre in Stratford-on-Avon, I felt that I had landed in the place that I had always wanted to be. It had been my ambition from when I left drama school to work for the RSC. They were doing the best classical theatre in the UK at the time. And finally, having been passed over twice, I got taken into the company. And once there, and once finding what I'd always believed, the quality of the work, of course, great scripts.
Right.
And brilliant directors, Peter Hall, Trevor Nunn, John Barton. And of course, the actors that they could assemble. There are some tapes that are used a lot in acting training programs here in the United States. They're called Acting Shakespeare, and I think there might be 12 or 13 of these tapes. Hour-long programs we did for Thames Television in England. And somebody had recently seen them and was saying to me, how did you manage to bring all those great actors together? Helen Mirren, Ian McKellen, Roger Rees, Ben Kingsley. How did you make that work? Well, it was very simple. They were all in the Royal Shakespeare Company. It all began there.
It all starts somewhere. Yeah. It actually started earlier for you. You mentioned while you were talking about that drama school. In high school, or how did you get the inspiration to be an actor?
It was given to me as a gift. I was introduced to drama, to Shakespeare, to the idea of performance by an English teacher. wonderful man in my very non-academic school,
Yeah.
who nevertheless took us pretty, ill-informed kids and introduced us to great literature. He was the first person to put a copy of Shakespeare in my hand, The Merchant of Venice, as it happened. And he cast the great trial scene from that play and said, okay, start reading it. So we all went. And he said, no, not to yourselves, you idiots. This is drama. It's not a poem, it's drama. You've got to act it out and perform. Well, I'd never been asked to do that before, but I don't know what it was. I had some facility for it, instinct. I don't know why, but even saying lines I didn't understand, using dialogue and words that I didn't know the meaning of.
Oh my gosh!
And nevertheless, there was something about the quality of it that connected with me.
And you did so many characters, so many plays, so many things on television as well in England. A lot of different kinds of roles and things. Then you come here, and somehow you wind up with Star Trek. How does that happen? Did you ever dream you would be doing this, or that it would even, did you know Star Trek at that point?
Nope. When I was being interviewed for the job on Star Trek, I had to ask my children, because I had remembered when they were small that I would come back after a matinee in the theater so that I could help put them to bed and read them a story and sing them a song and then go back to the theater for the evening performance. Yeah. And when I would come in at about 5:30, 6 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon, they were watching the show with these guys in these colored T-shirts. And I remember that was Star Trek. So they were my source of information.
That was it.
What Star Trek
you were
was.
Definitely not a Trekkie, as they say.
It happened because I was spending a couple of weeks here in California doing a little tour, a solo tour, doing master classes and acting workshops, talking about Shakespeare in English departments around Southern California.
Oh, wow.
And I always stayed with a good friend of mine who is an English professor at UCLA. And one day he had asked me, would I help him out? He was giving a public lecture in Royce Hall, and he said, it's just going to be me talking, unless I can have some dramatic excerpts read from the plays I'm talking about. Yeah. So he'd asked an actress friend, and he asked me, would we come along and illustrate his lecture? And he said, there's $100 for you in it. Big deal.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, of course I'll do that. And as it happened, signed up for the course of public lectures was a man called Robert Justman, who had been one of the original producers of the very first Star Trek series. Oh. And Gene Roddenberry had brought him back to help relaunch this revival, this new...
the next generation.
And he claimed, and he always claimed, may he rest in peace, that he had turned to his wife at one point during this evening and said, we found the captain.
Wow.
Gene Roddenberry didn't agree with him at all when I met him,
really?
At all. And I was nevertheless called back from the UK twice more. It might even have been 3 times more. Yeah. Flew me back to Los Angeles. I was quite happy to be flown back to Los Angeles. Until finally, my agent said to me, this is the real thing. It's you and another actor. There are 2 of you. And they want you to come back now and do an on-camera audition for the studio, the studio heads at Paramount. Yeah. And I did, and...
obviously it worked out.
We gotta get out of here.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
And let me bring you back to Charles Xavier, getting another, landmark kind of series with a role of movies here to play. Did you have any trepidation going into it, having done Star Trek and wanting to get maybe back to the roots, as it were, and now all of a sudden you're in sci-fi land again.
Somewhat. I'd already begun to learn that there was a downside to playing an iconic, immediately recognizable actor in a successful television series,
Yeah.
which was that you become that person.
Right.
And I did, there was a project, a movie that I was really anxious to meet the director about, because there was a quite small supporting role I really wanted to play. And it was hard. I didn't know why it was so hard getting to see this guy. Finally, I got in, and we had a pleasant conversation. And he said, "Look, Patrick, you're a good actor. I like what you do, but why do I want Jean-Luc Picard in my movie?" And it really hurt.
That's really, yeah.
It knocked me down quite a bit for a while, and I recovered.
Yeah.
But then X-Men came up, and I felt, ooh, not again. No. I'm dealing with one already, and even the first script, it had franchise stamped all over it, and I thought, I can't. My career can't afford to do this. Well, thankfully, Bryan Singer insisted I have lunch with him, and he persuaded me differently, and thank the Lord that he did, because it wasn't the same as doing the television series.
And now that's come to an end. I know you went into Logan saying, this is it.
No, I came out of Logan
saying this is it.
Yeah, not going, Hugh was on record for some time as saying
Right.
that there would be one more Logan movie, and that would be him done.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't until he and I were sitting side by side at the Berlin Film Festival where I first saw the movie with an audience, both of us. And we were watching the last 6 or 7 minutes, which were a very emotional part of the movie.
Right.
Charles had already gone.
Yeah.
And now Wolverine was in serious, brutal trouble. Yeah. And he was left alone with this child. And it was very intense. And at one point I saw Hugh do this just a little bit. I thought, he's feeling this, he's really feeling it. So he then reached out and he took my hand and squeezed it, and we looked at one another. And I thought, it's okay, I will let my emotions out too. And thinking about it afterwards, I realized there cannot be a better farewell to this 17-year experience than what we have in Logan.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful movie.
And it's about something. Well, we look forward to your next chapter, and certainly to 2020 when you return to the Royal Shakespeare Company, we hope.
Well, there has been a little conversation about that, and it's a stimulating, exciting thought, because it would be a great role to play. And we'll see how the time goes by. Let's just hope we make it to 2020.
We will. I mean, come on.
Come on.
You
if
ran,
you say so.
Yeah, you ran the Enterprise. You ran all of that.
Yeah. We've faced bigger challenges.
Much bigger.
The ones we face now.
Thank you so much, Patrick Stewart.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.